Will a devastating revelation about one of Cap's oldest friends and allies spell destruction for the Star-Spangled Man? Well, let's hop to the pages of Captain America issue number 18 and 19 to find out. So, picking up from where the last issue left off, Steve and his team, the Daughters of Liberty, were hard at work trying to track down the newest supervillain using the Scourge moniker to kill cops. Here's the twist though, Scourge himself turned out to actually be a cop out for revenge, and all of those cops that wound up dead already were not only dirty, but working for Alexa Lukin and the Watchdogs. Needless to say, tensions in the inner city are super high over all of this. A group of bloodthirsty vigilantes want to try and burn down a halfway house, and a bunch of twitchy cops try and defend it. This is a powder keg that's just begging to go off, and before Steve can deal with this Scourge problem, he's gonna have to step on in to make sure no one gets hurt. Luckily, Spider-Woman is there to use her pheromone powers to chill out the crowd. Of course, that only means they're just not going to kill each other right now. Captain America still needs to step in and get them to disperse, and for that he uses his other great power, the power to speechify. Cap says he understands where everyone is coming from right now. Lots of people are dead, no one knows who they can trust anymore. It seems like everyone is corrupt, everyone is out to get you, even Captain America himself, who has been branded a criminal and had to break out of prison not too long ago. But that the real villains behind all of this thrive on distrust, on driving wedges between people, because they know full well at the end of the day there's more good people than there are bad people, and without trust, without helping each other, well then there's not a country worth defending, is it? This speech actually ends up working and the crowd disperses. The cops are even so won over, despite the fact that they're supposed to arrest Captain America right now. They give him the information he needs to track down Scourge at his hiding place. The NYPD had already sent in some cops to arrest him, and they all ended up getting cut down by sentry gunfire. This means Captain America has to rush on in himself. And hey, he makes use of his holo shield once again. What a fun little way for them to have their cake and eat it too, or in this case, have his shield and throw it too. Now, if you were waiting for a big unmasking of Scourge, a big villainous monologue, that's not the type of story this is, because that's not the type of guy Scourge is. He sees Captain America coming for him, assumes that everything is corrupt, and because of that ends up jumping in front of his own sentry guns. The Scourge threat has ended, for now at least. Wilson Fisk is back alive, no one exactly sure if that was a clone, life model decoy, or a hologram that ended up getting blown up, but ultimately it's a hollow victory for everyone. And the worst may actually still be yet to come. All throughout this arc, Steve himself has been a little unsure about the newly resurrected Peggy Carter and the place she holds in the Daughters of Liberty. He's been afraid to ask, considering how hard she worked to break him out of jail and to back him up on all of these newest superhero capers, but now he's maybe gone a step too far by breaking into her phone when she wasn't looking. And it's this that leads us into issue 19. Captain America can't just ask Peggy now, and because of that he decides to go to someone that he hopes will be just as knowledgeable, Agatha Harkness, mistress of the magical arts, and unlike Doctor Strange, someone that Captain America probably stands a good chance of not running into the next time he's at Avengers Mansion. Agatha, being magic like she is, pretty much already knows why Steve is there and decides to assuage his concerns by first telling him the origins of the Daughters of Liberty. If the name wasn't already a dead giveaway, they were founded around the same time as the Sons of Liberty. In fact, they're heavily implied to be the wives and daughters of those same sons. Like, did you ever see Hamilton? They're the Schuler sisters. They basically began life as the Schuler sisters, but it didn't stop there. You know that famous saying, behind every great man is a great woman? Well, that's basically what the group did, operated in the shadows and tried to save mankind from itself, doing everything they could to balance power and stop wars from growing out of control in destruction. In fact, in future times, they would end up recruiting some of the best warriors, sorcerers, and scientists. They even seek to imply that Harriet Tubman and Madame Curie were members. But you know who else was a member? A young Peggy Carter. And you know what? I actually totally forgot this. Unlike in the movies, Peggy Carter isn't British, she's from Virginia. In fact, we get to see a teenage Peggy fall in love with a black man who she sadly could not be with due to the racist attitudes of the time. Heartbroken, she was recruited into the Daughters of Liberty by, get this, Alexa Lukin. Yeah, she's basically a Highlander. She's been alive this whole time. She was even a member of the Night Witches, the elite all-female Russian fighter pilot squadron. before eventually moving on to try and manipulate every aspect of Russian politics. She was even a member of the Winter Soldier program, for crying out loud. Alexa became young Peggy's handler in the organization and even gave her her first mission. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Infiltrate the French resistant forces and get close to a man called Captain America, a brand new super weapon that threatened the balance of power. Naturally, this revelation throws Steve into a heck of a tailspin. Did Peggy ever love him? Has any of this been true, or was it all just a job? He confronts her later that night and asks, "How are you alive?" Only to receive the truly hilarious answer from Peggy, "How are any of your friends alive, Steve?" To hear Peggy tell it, it's actually not nearly as bad as this might seem. She was resurrected via necromancy. Okay, that actually does sound pretty bad, but not out of the norm. She also wasn't trying to keep this connection between her and Alexa secret. In fact, Sharon knew about it, even Falcon and Bucky knew about it. They just didn't want Steve to know because they figured that's what Alexa wanted. It was all part of their plan. First they frame him, then they discredit Captain America, then they send him to jail, and then eventually he finds out that his love life might be a lie, even though it really wasn't, because he's just that charming, don't you know? We also discover, too, that Alexa Lukin is keeping a small piece of Sharon Carter's soul at the moment. That's what her and Selene took a few arcs back. They used it to power the resurrection of Alexander Lukin, who of course we know is also housing the mind of the Red Skull. And now that Captain America finally knows this, he's more resolute than ever to go and kick the Lukin's ass, and that's exactly what he's going to do, even picking up his old shield to do so as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Captain America issues number 18 and number 19, and I gotta say, I'm glad I caught up on this story when I did, because these two issues back-to-back tell one heck of a tale. One of the things I really love about Coates' Captain America is just how human and real he is. He's truly vulnerable. He could have had his heart broken. And to see a Steve who still manages to be inspiring while also hurting in his own personal life, I think makes him look that much more heroic, honestly. This new addition to the lore, too, Peggy Carter's origin story, and tying it into the new villain Alexa Lukin was also pretty damn genius, too, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. Together, I'd give these two issues an 8.5 out of 10. They were very, very solid.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, which I am very appreciative of. It really helps drive engagement and retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. So does liking and commenting. Wink wink. If you like my content too, you should check out my Patreon page. We just redid all the tiers, so there's a ton of great rewards. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and well, it would just really help me out. It's never expected, but always appreciated. So until next time everyone, I've been Cape Joel, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.